Good day everyone, I am Felix Bert, Yaona, and I am here to discuss the importance of understanding media and information literacy. But before we begin or we proceed to the importance of understanding media and information literacy, let me share first the introduction to what is a communication. Communication is a process of the communication of sharing information through a medium, plural, media. Giving, receiving, and exchanging information, in other words, talking, writing, and listening or reading. It is the act of communication. Good communicators pay attention to what others are saying, speak or write clearly, and respect different viewpoints. Strong communication skills can help people communicate both in person and in online. Understanding how words and visuals affect others is essential to texting, talking, and publishing appropriately. What is media? The plural version of medium is media. Broadly speaking, refers to any communication channel. This can range from printed paper to digital data, and it includes art, news, instructional content, and a variety of other types of data. Anything that has the ability to reach or influence people, such as phones, television, newspapers, internet, radio, magazines, and the internet, is termed media. Communication has 5 elements. It consists of sender, medium, receiver, message, and the feedback. Let's define each of the elements of communication process. The term communication process refers to the exchange of information, a message, between two or more people. Both sides be able to exchange information and understand one another for communication to be successful. Communication fails when the flow of information is obstructed for any cause or when the parties are unable to communicate effectively. First is the sender. The sender, also known as the communicator or source, initiates the communication process. The sender has something he or she wishes to share with others, such as a directive, request, inquiry, or idea. The sender must first encode the message in a form that can be understood, such as using a common language or industrial jargon, and then transmit it in order for it to be received. Second is the medium. The medium, often known as the channel, is the way by which a message is transmitted. Cell phones, for example, are used to send and receive text messages. Third is the receiver. The receiver or interpreter is the individual to whom a communication is addressed. The receiver must first be able to receive the sender's information before decoding or interpreting it in order to comprehend the information. Fourth is the message. The information that the sender wishes to convey to the receiver is known as the message or content. Body language and tone of speech also offer additional subtext. When we combine all 3 elements, sender, receiver, and message, you have the simplest form of communication. Last but not least is the feedback. When the message has been effectively conveyed, received, and comprehended, the communication process comes to a close. The sender, in turn, receives a response from the receiver, indicating that he or she understands. Direct feedback such as written or spoken remark, or indirect feedback such as an act or deed in response, are both possible. Indirect. Let's move on to the forms of communication. Forms of communication consist of 4. First is verbal, second is nonverbal, third is written, fourth is visual. First is verbal. When we speak with others, we are engaging in verbal communication. It can be done in person, over the phone, over Skype or Zoom, and so on. Some verbal exchanges are casual, such as conversing with the body over coffee or in the office kitchen. while others, such as a scheduled meeting, are more formal. It is not only about the words, regardless of the type. It is also about the quality and complexity of those words, how we link those words together to create an overarching message, and the intonation, pitch, tone, cadence, and so on. Utilize while speaking. And while others are vital when communicating face to face, they cannot be separated from nonverbal communication. Second is nonverbal. We often say more with our actions than our words. Facial expressions, posture, eye contact, hand motions, and touch are all examples of nonverbal communication. If you're having a chat with your supervisor about your cost-cutting plan, for example, it's critical to pay attention to both their words and nonverbal cues. Your supervisor may vocally agree with your concept, but their nonverbal cues, such as avoiding eye contact, sighing, and scratching up their face, imply otherwise. Third is written. Whether it's an email, a memo, a report, a Facebook post, a tweet, a contract, or anything else, the purpose of any written communication is to communicate information in a clear and effective manner, though this goal is rarely met. In fact, poor writing abilities can result in confusion, shame, and even legal risk. One thing to keep in mind regarding written communication, particularly in the digital age, is that the message lives on, possibly indefinitely. Thus, there are two things to remember. First, write well. Badly built sentences and careless typos make you appear terrible. And second, ensure the content of the message is something you want to promote or be connected with for the long haul. Fourth is visual. We live in a visual world. Consider these: televisions are on 24 hours a day, Facebook is visual with memes, videos, and images, Instagram is an image-only platform, and advertisers sell things and ideas through imagery. Think about from personal perspectives. The images we post on social media are meant to convey meaning, to communicate a message. In some cases, the message might be, "Look at me, I'm in Italy," or "I just won an award." Others are carefully curated to tug on our heartstrings, injured animals, crying children, etc. After we learn all about communication and media, let's move on to what literacy means. What is literacy? The capacity to read and write is the most popular definition of literacy. But it's not as straightforward as it appears. Reading and writing abilities differ across cultures and contexts, and these two are constantly evolving. Reading nowadays includes both complex visual and digital media as well as printed content. An elderly person who can read a newspaper may have difficulty finding information on Google. Similarly, literacy will be viewed differently in different cultures. Reading comprehension is an important aspect of literacy in the English language because of its tradition, but it may not be as vital in cultures or people that rarely read printed information. Literacy is the ability to identify, understand and interpret, create, communicate, and compute using printed and written materials associated with varying contexts. Literacy involves a continuum of learning wherein individuals are able to achieve their goals, develop their knowledge and potential, and participate fully in their community and wider society. What is media literacy? The ability to access, analyze, evaluate, and create media in a variety of forms. It aims to empower citizens by providing them with the competencies necessary to engage with traditional media and new technologies. Media literacy is about helping students become competent critical and literate in all media forms so that they can control the interpretation of what they see or hear rather than letting the interpretation control them. What is information literacy? Information literacy is defined as the ability to locate, analyze, organize, use, and transmit information in all of its form, particularly in situations requiring decision making, problem solving, or knowledge acquisition. It entails a combination of research, critical thinking, computer technology, and communication abilities. Academic performance, efficient workplace functioning, and involvement in society as informed citizens all require information literacy. What is technology literacy? A person's capacity to access or assess, acquire, and convey knowledge in a totally digital environment is referred to as technology literacy. Students with technology literacy can communicate, troubleshoot, and solve problems in both academic and non-academic settings using a variety of digital devices. For example, computers, cell phones, tablets, and interfaces like email, internet, social media, and cloud computing. It also refers to a working knowledge of digital information and gadgets, which is becoming increasingly important in today's educational environment. Technology literacy is comparable to digital literacy is that in that a person who is technologically or digitally literate is capable of critical thinking and communication via the use of technology. These folks can easily adapt to new technologies and understand how to consume, create, verify, and share digital content. So, what is media information literacy? Media and information literacy, or MIL, is a combination of knowledge, attitudes, skills, and practices required to access, analyze, evaluate, use, produce, and communicate information and knowledge in creative, legal, and ethical ways that respect human rights. According to the module prepared by Sir Dasun, it also allows citizens to engage with media and other information providers effectively and develop critical thinking and lifelong learning skills for socializing and becoming active citizens. 4 tips to practice media and information literacy, or MIL. Number 1. Individual must be exposed to the various types of media available. This means exposure to internet, radio, and newspaper. This ensures that they are able to know how information is usually presented in these mediums. Number 2. Study reading comprehension. These skills build the capacity to learn independently, to observe information on a variety of topics, to enjoy reading, and to experience literature more deeply. It is not enough that they recall information, but also connect the dots in relation to these pieces of information. Number 3. Encourage critical thinking. Based on observation, critical thinking is lacking in the Philippines. We want information to be fed to us directly, and we are too dependent on being fed this information that we no longer are able to determine things for ourselves. Number 4. Evaluating media and information. This is the ability to judge the credibility, accuracy, and subjectivity of sources. This is especially important when you are a student. Taking the time to check the credibility and accuracy of the information you are sharing is very important. But after knowing what MIL means, what is really the importance of it? The moment I read all the modules, I learned their importance and relevance in the lives of us students and teachers today. It helps me become responsible, mindful, and vigilant in using media and other information providers. Now that fake news is very rampant nowadays, it is important to think about what the information is worth. This will help us to identify credible information sources. Media and information literacy assist people in comprehending the messages that are forwarded to them. With so many sources of information available today, it helps people in identifying trustworthy sources and filtering through the clutter to find the truth. We should know if the information and knowledge we saw can be effectively used and adapted. After learning this subject, I became a wiser student and citizen of this nation. Being media and information literacy is important because it enables people to demonstrate and make educated judgments as users of information and media, as well as become skilled creators and producers of information and media messages in their own right. To become media literate, a person must be able to detect when information is required and have the capacity to search and assess it. To be information literate, a person must be able to recognize when information is required and have the ability to locate and evaluate it. Being literate about media information can aid us in today's modern world, particularly in terms of delivering and obtaining information that understand much of the false and genuine information best in many types of medium, notably the media. Other benefits include improved living conditions, a better working atmosphere, and more integrated learning units. MIL teaches you how to verify information and recognize other points of view. Knowing how to determine the validity of each information that you read online keeps you aware that there might be other angles to a story, which helps you to accept other people's belief and broadens your perspective in the process. You will be able to discern whether each information that you see makes sense, why some information hasn't been included, and what each idea contains. You not only get to formulate your own ideas using the information you've required, but also cite these ideas as examples to support your opinions. MIL also encourages you to share other sources of media responsibly. It helps you to determine and identify communication and marketing ploys. Teaching MIL helps to foster critical thinking in students. This type of thinking can eventually become second nature, which will help them in many areas as they grow older. The focus is more on strengthening skills and not content knowledge. In a larger context, media and information literacy also fosters the skills that help people work together in collaboration because it encourages respectful discourse and builds citizenship skills. I hope that you learned something about the importance of understanding media information literacy from me. See you on the next video. Thank you and mabuhay.